Hey you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north, more specifically Evans City, Pennsylvania, and I'm outside of the Living Dead Museum. This is a museum that pays homage to the Living Dead films as well as the history of zombies in pop culture and media. It is a zombie museum, so I don't see how we can go wrong with this. Follow me.
What brings you to Pittsburgh? So this is the Living Dead Museum. We start with Night of the Living Dead. In fact, the main emphasis of this location of our museum is Night of the Living Dead. This is where the movie was filmed here in Evans City. The cemetery is right across the street, and the farmhouse was just up the road. It's not there anymore, but the location where they filmed is all there. We put this museum here to explain to the world. We're already visiting Evans City because tourists are already coming here as it is to see these locations. We're here to explain to the world that it all started here. Zombies as we know of today would not be known as such if it wasn't for this movie, because zombies previously were like the voodoo kind of zombies.
Yeah, more like this, the brainwashed voodoo spells.
Created these new characters, new creatures called ghouls. Didn't call them zombies, but the public then quickly renamed them zombies, and it stuck. So he wasn't even intending on making a zombie movie. He just well, there wasn't such a thing as a zombie movie except a different kind of zombie movie.
Yeah.
So he just made a movie loosely based on I Am Legend, kind of like the creatures in I Am Legend, sort of merged with, you know, like a ghoul sort of. So anyway, our museum starts with sort of the history of the film, production itself, how it came to be, the various titles. Our first zombie is, of course, the first zombie that you encounter in the film.
It's very cool.
So played by Bill Heinzman, known as the Cemetery Ghoul, or sometimes Cemetery Zombie now. We have a whole thing here: ghouls versus zombies.
Ghouls versus zombies.
People understand the difference. And in reality, there really isn't a difference in today. It's just what they were calling ghouls then became what we
redefined zombies.
We have a timeline that basically starts with Night of the Living Dead and goes through the years with different influences and different key things in the world of zombies in pop culture. So whether they be films or video games or TV shows or whatever.
So the
there was not a whole lot in the 70s, and then
zombie
we
timeline
in 1978 with Dawn of the Dead. And after that, everything took off. There's lots of stuff after Dawn of the Dead. So we have like the first video game that ever had a zombie in it, and
which one was that? Zombie? It's called Zombie.
Yeah. No one knows it.
What was it?
The first one. It was
what system?
On the ZX Spectrum.
I have not even heard of that.
But it was the first one. You know, in 1999,
Corpse Killer.
National Film Registry registered Night of the Living Dead as culturally, historically important film. And so on. I mean, and you get up to Walking Dead, and it's so mainstream now. Screen used bullet belt that the sheriff wore over his shoulder.
Oh wow!
It's the actual one. A lot of people think it's a bandolier. What is the correct pronunciation? I'm not sure. It's actually not anyway. It's actually just a waist bullet belt that he already owned. It is, collection of whatever hunting.
Oh, he just brought it from home.
Brought it from home and threw it over his shoulder because for production value, and it became like an iconic look for him. He's wearing it throughout the film. This isn't the actual radio that's in the film, but it's the same exact model.
Reports from witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh.
These over here, these are the more traditional zombie.
Yeah, this is before Night of the Living Dead. This is what where zombies were known as before.
That's like the basically people being brainwashed through voodoo spells and whatnot.
And there's this anomaly in Planet Life from Outer Space, which were zombies from space that were that still predated Night of the Living Dead, but they were like zombies too.
Plan 9. That's the is that the one that's supposedly the worst movie ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which isn't really true because people make movies every day that are worse.
Oh yeah. Especially nowadays.
Right. We have what we call the Mall of Fame, which we started in the Monroeville Mall. Hence the name Mall of Fame. We had a play on the mall name. And in the marble theme, which is like sort of a theme in the mall. But we started this museum in the mall in 2008, and then we moved here about 6 years ago. And we've added to it all along, whether we're there or here. But these are the bloody handprints of all the actors in Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead.
Oh wow!
So as they visit us, we collect their handprints and their signatures on our Mall of Fame wall. And it's a living, growing exhibit. Every time someone new we haven't captured yet visits, we get their bloody handprints. It's kind of.
So you've had quite a few people.
It's like our version of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but with blood.
Here's first dead ghoul right there.
George Romero is right here.
Romero. Oh yeah, George Romero's big old bloody handprints.
Stay Scared is his standard greeting and his signature.
Is this Tom Savini right here?
Yes. And Dawn of the Dead has its own little section.
This is the mall right here.
This is a model of parts of the mall, parts that don't exist anymore in the mall. The mall's still there, but Penny's is gone. The clock tower is gone, the water fountain is gone, so we have some little replicas of what they once looked like. And we have our annual event that we host in the mall every June, and we bring all the actors from Dawn back into the places where they filmed the movie. It just doesn't quite look the same as this, but it's still, there are some places that look the same still.
Oh, here's some props right here.
So those are some production props.
They have like those tubes that squirt blood.
Right. That's a screen-used gas mask from Dawn of the Dead. These are some parts of the elevator. That's the button panel from the elevator from Dawn of the Dead. We actually own the whole elevator, the doors and everything, and we're rebuilding it right now in the mall so that we can exhibit it in 3 weeks at Living Dead weekend in Monroeville, June 14, 15, 16.
Spencer's Gifts right there. Oh, there's a zombie checking their blood pressure. Imagine zombies like don't have blood pressure.
This is the security guard zombie from the boiler room and flyboy zombie. These were like the sanitation and the food. They look down through the windows of the movie. They saw that the mall was also being used as maybe like a shelter of some sort of survival place, and they found me. That's one of the reasons why the characters were motivated to crashing through this loop of the mall and stay there briefly, and they decided to stay there longer. After Dawn, we have some of the other Romero films that came later. Just representation of each one. And Return of the Living Dead, a big deal in the history of zombies, because if you ask anybody today what zombies do and what they eat, what do you think they're going to say?
Brains.
Not flesh. They're going to say brains. And it comes from this movie. This movie introduced the idea that zombies eat brains. It was kind of a gag, kind of just something they put in the film to give it a different flavor, but it really stuck in a way that it's such a mainstream thing now. Zombies eat brains. No one knows or thinks about that. And George Romero himself was always puzzled, like when people come up and say brains, he's like, they didn't eat brains. I don't know why.
So is this? I don't know the entire way it worked out, but didn't it almost diverge into two continuities?
Yeah. So the rights. So there were two writers for Night of the Living Dead. There was George Romero and there was John Russo. and they each wanted to do different kinds of projects based on Night of the Living Dead. And so an agreement was made that George Romero would use the titles of the dead.
Yeah.
And John Russo would use the titles of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I'm doing a straight sequel.
We have Michael Jackson.
Yeah, we do a thing with Thriller because it was really the moment where zombies stopped being like a serious horror moment and it sort of become mainstream, where
Kind of turned zombies into a pop culture.
Yeah, kids and everybody dancing around, acting like zombies. That was the turning point. After that, then you got all the other stuff, cartoons and video games and everything else.
This mask was used in
That was a mask used in Day of the Dead. In Day of the Dead, they used makeup on the foreground zombies, and a lot of the background zombies just wore these masks.
Okay, so it's just easier to just slap masks on the one that weren't fully featured.
Yeah, so they had like a handful of different mask styles, and they repainted them differently and kind of made it look like there's a bunch of them. There's a picture of George with people in the masks. And in 1973, George Romero came back and used the same town as the background for this movie called The Crazies. And it's not technically a zombie movie, but it sort of plays like a zombie movie where there's something infecting the people that are making them kill people, act crazy. It's interesting. It's sort of an anti-establishment kind of film, where the government accidentally leaks a toxic into the water supply in Evans City, and everyone in town goes crazy, and so they have to try to cover it up. So they quarantine the town and try to contain it. Ultimately, they authorize a nuclear strike on Evans City and destroy it all, and to cover up their blunders. This is a door from one of the homes, this building here. Some of these scenes were filmed in here. It's a bedroom door from that house.
What's the shirt from?
That's a shirt from Diary of the Dead. It's a zombie uniform. And you'll wonder why it doesn't have blood on it, because the blood was CGI. From the Father's Day segment in Creepshow. Not technically a zombie, kind of just a reanimated corpse, but we actually are doing a Creepshow reunion at our event this June, 14, 15, 16. We're going to have all the actors from Creepshow there. So the Monroeville Mall is where they filmed Dawn of the Dead, and it's near here. It's in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. And for the last several years, we've had a Dawn of the Dead reunion convention every June in the mall. We bring all the actors back to where they filmed the movie. Doing it again this year, but we're adding Creepshow. So we'll have 2 movies, 2 reunions, all at the same time. 50 different celebrities from those films will be there. We have location tours. We're going to take people to where they filmed all the different stuff in the mall. We're going to the airport nearby where they filmed some of the airport scenes, like the helicopter airport. Take people there. We have screening in the theater in the mall, Dawn of the Dead 3D, which is a rare updated version of Dawn of the Dead where they reprocessed it in 3D that very few people have seen. And there's a new theater in the mall, so the opportunity is there to like show the movie in 3D in the same place where it's literally on top of the foundation of JCPenney's where most of the scenes were filmed. So you'll be sitting in seats in the theater that are on the earth that the actors filmed the movie and watching the movie. That's kind of a neat thing. And we have parties and VIP experiences, and we have taking some lucky winners up to the roof of the mall to do a tour on the roof, which is a really rare thing that you don't normally get to do. We have a contest to win that, since very few people can go up.
And what were the dates again?
June 14, 15, and 16. This June 2019.
And of course, Evans City, Pennsylvania isn't just the home of the Living Dead Museum. It is also where the Living Dead movie was filmed. So Kevin at the museum recommended I check out this cemetery right here where the movie was originally filmed. Here we have it. This grave right here. This is the one that Barbara and Johnny went to visit their deceased father. And as you can see, it appears to be, the fans have been respectful. I was half worried that there would be like zombie toys and human brains left behind to commemorate the movie. Must be really strange for the family, this Cole family, to have their grave known as an iconic zombie movie prop. So yes, this cemetery right here is where the modern pop culture version of the zombie was created. When the first zombie from the film walks through the cemetery, it's the first occurrence of a modern day zombie in pop culture, in film. Of course, before that, the term zombie was used to describe people under voodoo curses, which is real, that's real. But what George Romero created, apparently he called them ghouls, or just like, he kind of came up with the idea of the dead rising and being monsters, and then the public deemed them zombies. And so, zombie fever, it's our country to this day, this very day, with The Walking Dead and thousands of zombie movies. It all started right here. Appreciate you guys watching. Please check out the description below. I have an interactive map that'll show you where I've been, and you can tell me where I need to go. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, consider buying a t-shirt. Consider donating a Patreon. A donation of $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month. But for now, this one's in the bag.